Hello, this is Kayhan. Welcome to episode 35th of my life journey. In the previous episode, I mostly talked about why some answers really need readiness from us. You know, why seeing reality clearly takes so much strength, both mentally and physically, uh, to be absorbed and understood well, and why it's totally fine to put aside so many of those questions that we might have that we might come across just for our ease of mind at the level of understanding that we are. In this episode, I want to actually change it to a more practical, subject. So I want to talk about how sometimes the answer is already given to us, but we keep looking for more information and more things outside. We don't like stick to it. Does it make sense? I recommend you to like think about this. So many times you did it happen for you to just have the answer, but something inside you just says no, this is not the answer. There should be something more, you know complicated out there that you know that will take you to what you need. So, a few months ago, this kind of thing that I want to talk about is about a few months ago. A few months ago, uh, I would be doing my practices and the lessons that SAR gave me, but I just felt that I hit a wall, or like I reached a plateau, that life is kind of constant. I'm not making much progress anymore, and sometimes I'm not taking very good decisions when I have to make decisions, important decisions, mostly when I'm with others, and like in at my workplace maybe, or in school, about my life, about economically, any kind of aspect. When I'm making decisions, it's like it's not the way I expect it to be. I mean, it's not great as before. So, by the way, like as time passed, also my responsibilities got harder. So I was not satisfied with myself in one sentence. So, uh, you know, I was doing practice of silence of mind and meditation that SAR told me. But I just felt that it's not enough. It was not my first priority anymore after a point. And I thought that, okay, I mean, I sit and focus on my breath from time to time, and you know, I do this meditation whenever I can. And yeah, I mean, that's something that I do, and it's doing its job, probably. You know what I mean? So, uh, out of all of these practices that SAR gave me, one of them was silence of mind, meditation, as you know. And uh, after a point, I was like, okay, I'm doing it whenever I can, but sometimes I don't take it that serious because I feel like I'm caught up and have so many assignments, responsibilities to do. And like, maybe I have exam, I have some task to deliver, there's a due date or something. So what I want to say is that I did meditation whenever I could, not as a first priority above everything else. Why? Because I thought that, okay, I mean, it's doing its job. I'm doing meditation sometimes daily, sometimes every other day, sometimes, maybe I cannot do it for 1 or 2 days, then I just go back to it. But what I felt and what I wanted was like, okay, I have to do something more. I have to learn some new things, some more advanced techniques. Like just sitting and focusing on your breath. I mean, let me tell you why first. I mean, as you know, we want to become successful, and we have to have a very sharp mind. We have to have a extremely focused brain, and like, our attention must be like a laser. And well, I discussed this with my life coach a lot. Like, how can I be more sharp? How can I be like, how can I make better decisions, get ideas fast, like in one shot, once, only once I get the concept or like information. And I hit a wall that I felt like, okay, I mean, I'm focusing on my breath. It made me sharp, but that's it. I have to do probably I have to learn some secrets. Probably these successful people have some other tools or like, skills or some practices that they do that makes them much better, uh, much better decision makers. And yeah, I thought that, okay, this is not enough. Uh, just, sitting and doing nothing. I have to move mountains if I want to, you know, do some big stuff. Let's say, make some better decisions and uh, like deliver some higher quality tasks, let's say. Yeah, I mean, part of me, I noted this down. I believe that, okay, this is good, but part of me was saying that, okay, this is not enough for me. Does that make sense? I had to do something much harder, maybe more complicated methods I have to be looking for. And some voice inside my head could not accept this. That, okay, you have to take this more seriously, this simple practice. And then I talked to Sar and I said like, okay, what else? I'm doing this practice. Yeah, what else? Isn't there anything else? Isn't there any other shortcut, secrets, or like, tricks of the trade that you didn't tell me? Oh no, I cannot believe this is all of it. And actually, what he said was nothing more than that simple practice. He just turned me back to it. And I didn't expect that. He just told me that, okay, like, is it your first priority? I mean, I said, okay, not my maybe first priority, but it is my priority. And he said, like, okay, this is where you're going wrong. That must be your first priority over above anything else. And I was like, okay. And he said, you have to increase its time. You have to do it more than now. Not every other day, not whenever you can. And I was like, okay, more than 1 hours? He told me, definitely you have to, at this level, at this place, after this months of our practices, and okay, you already reached some results that made you like happy and satisfied. But okay, you want more, you want better mind and like focus, do it more. Why not? And I was like, wait, how much? Like, should I do it like 5 hours, 10 hours? What do you mean by that? And he said like at least 2 hours a day, and every single day, morning and night. So based on my understanding, I said, okay, I should put this in first priority. At least I should give it a try, and I have to change my plans. If I'm honest, if I had an exam or had something important in the early morning, I would just skip that practice and go and, do what I had that day, that morning. But he said like, why do you think of it that way? just wake up earlier, wake up 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7. If you have an exam at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., wake up earlier, wake up at 5. What do you think about it? And I was like, seems hard, not very comfortable. And that's it. That's it. That is where I was going wrong. He helped me to catch my weak point. You know, he made me understand that the solution had already been given to me a long time ago. And I was just for 1 or 2 months messing around and just trying for a more complex and better solution, while he told me that you already have the solution. You just have to take it more seriously. The issue was that something deep inside me wanted a new answer. The issue was that I had not fully acted on the answer I already had. I thought that there's like a certain point about meditation, about practice of silence of mind, focusing on breath, that you do and that's it. You cannot go beyond that. You cannot advance it, go to more advanced levels. But there are advanced levels, and he advised me to do it from now on, from that time onwards, not going to bed, not sleeping, unless doing this practice for 1 hour or half an hour, at least 2 hours a day. And and I used to bring excuses, to myself all the time. So I made a firm decision, this time a real decision. 2 hours a day, no matter what, no excuses, nothing above it. No priority is above that. At least 2 hours a day, morning, night, done, period. I did that for a while, for a few weeks, and suddenly things started to open up. Better decisions, better performance, more positive, more, a more constructive person. Suddenly negativity is less and gone. When people piss you off or bother you, I saw that I have the capacity to not care, to ignore them easier. And as I did it more and more, it was like, it's like I'm getting bulletproof. My brain and mind is getting bulletproof. So many people okay, maybe bother me at some point for something. There's like a serious thing going on. There is a debate. There is, some contradictions between maybe me and others. Ideas are opposing. Headache, in one word. And I was just, in control. I didn't get that negativity that I used to, that it used to actually affect me, influence me in a, destructive way. I was like much better. People didn't exist in the times of their negativity. And that was awesome. More sharper brain, sharper focus. Just because I increased that, just because I did it stronger. And that was breathtaking. That was really like a big lesson in my life. It also showed me something about my inner child. You remember the idea of inner child? When I looked at myself from above, that voice inside me that said, this is not the way. You have to find some more, you know, a better way, some secret, some, you know, complicated thing. That was not wisdom. That was not wisdom at all. But I took it as wisdom. I was like, these successful people must know something that I don't know. Maybe I have to read some more books and like listen to some more maybe podcasts, or maybe I should read their biography to see what their secret tool is. No, that was not wisdom. That was fear. That was absolute fear. Sometimes our inner child is just avoiding change because it's afraid of change, afraid of some, you know, harder stuff, more boring stuff, I can say. And it was putting this obstacle on my way, and I couldn't understand it. Even the, you know, even I remember I really struggled with myself for a few days until I changed my ways and like brought it to the first priority. It was not really in one shot, like in a second, but I had this time that I like really felt its power, and at that point I made a decision. Okay, no less than 2 hours a day, morning, night. But the lesson is that it's very interesting how your inner child can mislead you. When you become better, when you improve, when you grow and your level go up, let's say, this time your inner child also changes its look, its shape. Maybe it deceive you in more smart ways, not this time by telling you something maybe negative or like fearful or scary, uh, but this time maybe in a intellectual way. You should find something more complicated, some harder stuff. Yeah, it did not tell me do something bad. It just said it's too simple, it can't be it. Like, by you just doing it every day, morning, night, 2 hours, 3 hours, just sitting and focusing on your breath, doing nothing else, this is the answer? No, like, this is stupid. And I mean, that old version of me was maybe telling this to me. I could feel that. So in one sentence, SAR helped me to understand that sometimes the next level does not come from finding a new answer. It comes from the old answer being done more seriously, with more power, more like will. you know, and doing it without excuses. First priority. Yeah, I hope I could transfer the wisdom that I got from that lesson to you. I could explain it well to you. I hope you think about it for a while and maybe experience it so you can really understand what I say. Yeah, thank you for following up to this point. I appreciate it, and uh, this is great that you're on this journey, on this path, and keep up this great road. I'll keep you updated with a new lesson next week. There's another subject that I talked with Sar about, the idea that we have to learn how to hunt in the best way, but not for hunting, but actually to not being hunted. I will elaborate on that. That is also a very interesting topic for me in life, very practical thing. So until then, take care. Goodbye.